In this video, you'll learn about the structure and locations of compact and spongy bone.
Compact bone is a superficial layer in our bone organs. Compact bone is a tissue that has a dense, smooth, solid appearance, but under the microscope, compact bone has a repeating structural and functional unit called an osteon. An osteon consists of a central canal surrounded by plates of bone that form concentric circular plates, which are called concentric lamellae. An osteon is a central canal surrounded with concentric lamellae. The central canal contains blood vessels and nerves that are traveling through the bone. The central canals run parallel to the long axis of a long bone in order to provide the greatest strength to the diaphysis of the long bone. The central canals run parallel to that length of the long bone. The lamellae are plates of osseous tissue, and concentric lamellae surround the central canal within an osteon. There are also interstitial lamellae that are plates of osseous tissue wedged in between the osteons, and the entire outer layer and inner layer of compact bone is formed from plates of osseous tissue called circumferential lamellae. There's outer circumferential lamellae, forming the most superficial outer layer of the compact bone, and inner circumferential lamellae lining the deep surface of the compact bone. In addition to the central canals that run parallel to the long axis of a long bone, there are perforating canals that run perpendicular to the central canals. These perforating canals are also known as Volkmann's canals, and they contain blood vessels and nerves as well, connecting from the surface deep into the bone and into the medullary cavity. All of the canals running through compact bone are lined with a inner layer, an inner membrane known as endosteum. And endosteum contains the osteoclast cells that break down the matrix of bone. And there's another type of membrane surrounding the superficial layer of the bone known as the periosteum. So endosteums found deep inside of the bone, lining central canals and perforating canals. And deeper into the bone, there's a medullary cavity, which is also lined with endosteum. The spongy bone is found deep within the bone, surrounding the medullary cavity. Spongy bone, in contrast to compact bone, has lots of small holes in it called the trabecular cavities that are in between irregularly arranged struts of bone known as trabeculae. Then the superficial outermost layer of the compact bone is covered with the periosteal membrane, which is a membrane of connective tissue that also contains osteogenic cells that are the stem cells that can differentiate into osteoblasts. And the osteoblasts will build bone and eventually differentiate into osteocytes, the mature cells of bone. Here we see an illustration showing spongy bone, which is also known as trabecular bone. Spongy bone has lots of spaces, lots of small spaces known as trabecular cavities, and lots of irregularly arranged, branching struts or plates of bone known as trabeculae. Trabecular bone gets its name from the trabeculae, the irregularly arranged struts of bone, and the trabecular cavities, the spaces in between these struts of bone. Spongy bone is found deep within the bone. The deep layer of long bones is spongy bone. Spongy bone surrounds a medullary cavity within a long bone and also fills the expanded ends, the epiphyses of the long bone. And there is endosteum lining all of the trabecular cavities through the spongy bone. Bone marrow is found inside of those trabecular cavities, and blood vessels and nerves also run through the trabecular cavities. Here in the illustration, you can see there are osteoclasts found in the outer layer of the trabeculae. Those osteoclasts are part of the endosteum, the layer of cells surrounding the trabeculae and lining the trabecular cavities. And there are also osteoblasts found in the endosteum. And remember, osteoblasts build bone and osteoclasts break down bone. Here we can see the structure of a flat bone where there are outer layers of compact bone surrounding an inner layer of spongy bone. And the overall surface of the flat bone is a broad, flat surface. And you can see that it's slightly curved. So the outer surface of the cranium is a convex curvature, but is formed out of flat bone.